3,650. Do you know what this number represents? It represents the amount of days that I will spend on my phone if nothing had changed for the next 30 years of my life. My average screen time is about, well, it used to be of about 8 hours a day, every single day. Perhaps more, perhaps less. However, I've changed it all the way down to less than 1 hour. Here's some proof showing that the past month I've really just been doing under an hour a day, each day. Thanks to a new framework that I've developed and I've been using for myself, which I'm going to share with you today. Before you give yourself the excuse, I want to let you know that despite being absent from my phone, less than 1 hour every day, my time spent with friends and my time talking to friends hasn't really changed at all, and I don't really miss out on any conversations. Matter of fact, when I talk with them, it's more meaningful and more efficient than ever before. Before I share the frameworks with you, I want to give you some context as to how it came to be. And I also want to give some explanation as to why it works. So how it came to be. I was journaling after my day and meditating and all this stuff. And I wrote down that my progress towards becoming more mindful, which is a goal of mine, was kind of stagnated. It wasn't really moving anywhere. And I wrote about how I wasn't becoming oneself, becoming more full, right? It felt like my attention was still divided, still scattered around different places. And then I read about things, and I read that it is good to immerse yourself in a task if you want to become more full. If you are multitasking, how are you going to be more devoted to the single task? And then I realized that in every activity that I did, I had further stimulation. When I was cooking, I was watching a video on the side. When I was relocating from A to B, and maybe I'm walking instead of driving, I was on the phone, just checking, texting to people. When I was waiting in a line for the toilet or for my food, I was again checking my phone. Whatever I did, I kept on checking. I never wanted to be left unstimulated for 1 second. In some sense, it's kind of like TikTok when you have the first video and then the second video is like Subway Surfers or GTA fucking cars doing whatever. Even in between gym sets, when I was on my break or resting, I would look at my phone instead of focus on my breathing like I knew that I should be doing. And I was just overall glued and attached to this devilish creation. So what did I do? I understood the following through a self-discovery. You may not know this, but I promise you it's something that will change your mind. We are better at following prohibitions than actual actions. What this means is that I set a few rules for myself, knowing that I had a tendency to waste time on the same things over and over again, either Polytopia or manhwa or anime. So I told myself, okay, I'm going to not go on these sites anymore, or take it down to only in this frame of the day I will go on them, yada yada. The problem was is that I disrespected my own rules. Now it wasn't all bad because I punished myself, I gave money to charity whenever I infringed my own rules because I had an accountability partner and I told him everything. However, it was still bad because it meant in my subconsciousness that my word was worthless. And if a man doesn't have his word, then what does he really have? Above losing money, I wanted to actually make a change in my life. So this was really bothering me. And though sometimes, this is going to sound stupid, but even if you know what is right and you want to do what is right, it doesn't mean that you are going to do what is right. Because at the end of the day, we are dumb and susceptible to temptation. So as long as the devil exists and Satan, whatever that shit, we are going to have the possibility of failure, even if we have all the intention in the world to be and do good. But how can you make that possibility smaller and less likely to happen? I applied one of my favorite principles from Atomic Habits to make it invisible. What I did on my PC first, then we'll go onto the phone, I downloaded extensions which block certain browsers so that whenever I went on the computer, I would not have the accessibility, even if it's on my favorite bar or anything like that, to go into these websites. At least not so casually. If I wanted to still go on them, I would have to do it with a more conscious mind that I was breaking my own rules. I would have to go there and I'd have the notification saying, you're blocked from this website. And then I had to say, okay, I'm going to break my own rules, unblock myself, and then access. Like, that's not really likely to happen, right? Or at least it's less likely, because though I have a long way to go, I'm not that weak-minded. There's a few more things that you can do for your social media, for YouTube, different extensions which I will share and talk about in future videos. But if you want to see that, just subscribe quickly and then you'll see that in the future. But what we're going to focus on right now is the phone, because what I'm about to share right now is going to bring you the most amount of success that I've seen anyone really talk about for you to spend less time on your phone. However, it's going to take a little bit of your time. Go on your phone settings now or after the video and go through all of the applications one by one. On the applications, you go on the notification button, you disable all of them one by one. It might take you 10 minutes, 20, it might take you 5 minutes, but just disable all of them. And you may be conscious and worried, what if I get an important message from my family or my friends, like meeting out and I forgot and whatever. Okay, look, if you have something important to say and somebody isn't replying to the messages, what do? You call them, right? You call them. So what are the other people going to do? They're going to call you. So what can you do now, knowing that? Okay, what you can do is leave everything disabled. However, you go to the notifications for the social medias which people may call you on, and you enable just the call notification, nothing else. I have my WhatsApp calls enabled and my normal calls enabled, so whenever anything happens, I don't turn my phone off or leave it on airplane mode like they tell you. If you have people that like depend on you a little bit, or you have things that you need to attend to, just do that. Just leave the notifications on and put it like in the corner of your room, whatever. And if somebody calls you, you're gonna hear it, you know. But this will prevent you from having to continuously check your phone. Oh, who's messaging me? Bing, bing, bing. Like, no. Get rid of it. Next is your phone screen when you unlock it. So try and make your background really plain, like nothing that really distracts you, makes you look at it and reminisce and get lost in wonderland of thoughts. Just something that either motivates you or something black or white, like screen. On my lock screen I have a little message that motivates me to do my hard work. And on the one after, it's just plain basic, just black, nothing else. Get rid of all the applications like the browser and stuff. If you need to access it, you're going to have to actively go scroll up to see the applications that pop up, go on the browser, and you're already determined, okay, I'm going to the browser because I need to find this. But you're not going to unlock your phone and find the browser and just be tempted to go on it, right? You won't have that stimuli affecting your mind and always like telling you, oh look, I could go on the browser and if I wanted. If you get it out of sight, you get it out of mind. So now that you got rid of all the icons, you can leave, instead of a blank page, the reminders of your work or reminders of what you want to do. I'll show you right now, mine's right, like it's just a black screen. And this right here is just like verses from the Quran. Whenever I click this, it shows me a new one. I've got Audible right there when I want to listen to a book and make notes, obviously, don't just listen. And I have my screen time right there to keep track. Now what this does for you, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but my phone is quite unpleasant to look at, right? It's just the icons, they're all black and white. Why? If they're black and white, are you going to be as likely to look at it? Look at all of these cool flashy colors. No. Why do you think that when you go to the store and you go to the aisle full of chocolate and unhealthy stuff, it's all in bright red colors, it's got discount, big letters, this, that, but it's all very bright, especially. It's because it catches your attention, and when it catches your attention, it catches your eye. And then, it's just all sales, it's all retention. With this retention of attention, they will get more and more of your money, essentially. And the black and white screen is also underrated. You just go on reading mode or monochromatic, or you have a setting, definitely. But it's underrated because when you do something like this, like when you try to achieve less screen time, you will encounter one big challenge: boredom. Now what will you do when you encounter boredom? You will begin to do what I used to do, where it's just, you go on your phone and you look at it and there's nothing on it, you're just looking at it. You're looking to see what happens, but nothing happens. And you're just looking at it, you go to your social medias maybe, and then you wait to see if, because you don't have notifications on, you go to see if anybody has messaged you, and you just constantly check for what? However, if you get rid of the colors, you're going to be less and less likely. You know, it makes me a little bit disgusted to look at my phone. It's just so unpleasant because I'm here or I go on WhatsApp. It's just all black and white, right? There's no color. Literally, it's not fun. But this will train your mind to go less and less times on your phone, and then eventually you won't try to, when you're waiting in line, just get a quick glance, see what's up. You won't go from A to B and get another quick glance. Your mind will become less stimulated and you'll be more full in your presence. When you walk, you start to look around. You may look at a tree properly for the first time in months. You may have heard of the book called Outliers. It's a book that suggests it takes 10,000 hours to become, from scratch, an expert at any skill if you give it 10,000 hours of dedicated and focused work. And if you spend 8 hours on your phone every single day, that means that a year you spend 2,920 hours, which would mean in theory that after 3.5 years you spent enough time, if you were to spend on a new skill, to master it. This means that you could go from scratch on the guitar from a complete beginner to bloody Ozzy Osbourne. But this is kind of a lie. I'm not going to sell you fantasy or a dream because it's not really true. The book is talking about dedicated and focused hours. Unless you were a person that was completely financially free, then you probably have financial dependencies, which will make it so that you can't just spare 8 hours of focused work every day for a hobby. Because this is what it is. You're going to replace all of your screen time for hobbies and different works. But not just any hobbies. There's certain things, certain rules you must keep in mind when you replace the screen time for something else. Otherwise, you're going to replace it with more procrastination. The hobbies that you pick up must and should replace your time with something that will enrich your character or serve you for work and future endeavors. But if they enrich your character, then they inevitably will also help you in other aspects. And it could be anything. It could go from learning how to play the guitar, and then you have a new skill, new asset that you can provide and show, which gives you more social profile. Or maybe you're learning a new language, and after a couple of years of dedicating it as a hobby a few hours a day, you become good enough to be fluent in conversation. Or perhaps you want to realize the vastness of God and the infinite, and you become closer to the oneness that is in us all. And then you learn more verses from the Quran or the Bible, whatever you are into. Or you just meditate, or you're really into astrology, whatever it is that you pursue. With that new free time that you have in your hands, in order to not be bored or whatever and waste it, you must spend that time on something that will be an asset for you, that will work for you either spiritually or physically or financially. That's how I cure my boredom now. I'm like kind of overwhelmed with activities all the time, but it's fine. I feel more in touch with my core, with my purpose, what I want to be doing, and I'm happier than I was before, when I was endlessly scrolling, doing nothing most days and with no real sense of... But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, subscribe, stay around a bit longer. And yeah, I hope that you can take action, because it's no point listening to something without taking action. Strive to be 1% better every day, and much love.